In this video, I show you how to take the monument and turn it into a 2D image that we can then use image editing programs such as Pixlr and Pixlr Express to create a very nifty, cool looking book cover for an English project. The process we'll use to create this book cover will involve editing our monument a little bit to make it so the text is more visible, taking a screen capture of it, which is just essentially a picture of our screen, importing that into an editor in which we'll crop it and add a gradient to our background, and then we'll open it up in a program called Pixlr Express, which we'll use to embellish it with extra effects. Before we turn this into a two-dimensional image that we'll use for the book cover, let's edit our monument so it's a little more appropriate for it. First, let's make the text bigger. I'll select the text, once again using the group context window that appears for it. Then I'll edit it using the Smart Primitive Editor. This way I can increase the length of the text so it has more space to grow and it'll make larger letters. And then I'll apply the changes that we made to our text by clicking the Apply button. The next step is we'll want to extend the bottom so that way we can't see it when we change our view. To do this, we'll just use the Press Pull tool again, click on the bottom of our monument, and then pull it down and then enter in an arbitrarily large value to make it so we really just can never see the bottom of it. I plan on having this image be a very perspective heavy image, so I'll want to place my camera close to the bottom. Consequently, I won't be able to see the boat very well when it's that high up, so I'll just go ahead and make the boat larger. I'll select it, and then I'll use the scale tool to just increase its size. Now that we've made the boat larger, I'll also take this moment to move it around so that way it looks like it's once again on top of Mexico. Alrighty, so those are all the edits that I think I needed to do for this book cover. Now I want to position the camera in the same position I want to take this photo of. I'll maneuver it around, and I'll try to make it an interesting down-low perspective. This is the perspective I want for our photo, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move our mouse away from the center, and then I'm going to take a screenshot. To do this, I'll push the Print Screen button on the top right of our keyboard. This button will copy our screen to our clipboard as an image. We can paste this image in any image editing program, or even Word documents or other things like that. Next, I'll use the Pixlr Editor. It's an online, free image editor, very powerful tool. To do that, I'll type in pixlr.com in a web browser. That'll bring us to the Pixlr page, and then I'll select the editor. Next, we'll want to start a new document. We'll select one of the larger resolutions. I'll do 1080p. And I'll want to make the background transparent by checking the transparent checkbox. Currently, the image is copied to our computer's clipboard. To paste it in this document, I just simply go to Edit, Paste. Now we don't want everything else in this photo, so we'll just go ahead and use the Crop tool. I'm already selected on it, but if you're not, click on the Crop tool on the top left of our toolbar. Then click and drag around the object. To finish cropping it, just simply double-click on the area you have selected, and this will crop it for us. Now you probably don't want that blue background there, so let's get rid of it. We'll use the Wand tool to select the blue. First, we'll have to make a couple of setting changes, so we'll turn off the contiguous constraint, and then we'll lower its tolerance. What this will do is make it so it selects a very specific color. We don't want it selecting any of the whites of our sails or anything like that. So I'll lower it down to like 5 or 10. Now I just click on the blue and it'll put a selection around all of that color. Then I'll go to Edit, Clear, and it'll just delete all of that color for us. Next, I'll go back to Edit and then click Deselect All. This will get rid of our selection. So now if you've never used an image editing program that uses layers, I'm going to select the bottom layer. This will be the one behind our current image. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make a gradient for our background. By selecting the lower image on the layer editor, I can put a gradient behind all the layers above it. Now I'll select the gradient tool from the left-hand toolbar. I'll click on the gradient colors on the top, and I'll change this black to a gray. This will make it so it's a white to gray gradient. Now I just click and drag from the top of our image to the bottom, and we'll apply this gradient behind our image. That's all the edits we needed to do in this program, so I'm just going to click Save from File, then I'll save it somewhere on our computer. Make sure to remember where you save it, because in the next step we'll need to load it from that same spot. Return to the Pixlr homepage, and this time though, click on Pixlr Express. Use the Browse button to load the photo that we just got finished editing into Pixlr Express. Both Pixlr Express and Pixlr-O-Matic are two programs that quickly allow you to apply adjustments, effects, overlays, borders, and text to a picture. I could try to explain what each one of these filters and options do, but it's actually quite easy to learn about them if you just play around with them. Here, I'll show you a quick example with our photo. First, I'll apply an effect to the photo to give it some more color. You can adjust the intensity of these effects by moving this slider. I can apply this effect by clicking on the Apply button. Then I'll add some text to it, since a book cover obviously needs its author's name on it. We can easily change the font, and the color, and the placement. This photo still looks like it could use a little bit more color and contrast, so I'll go ahead and apply another effect. Lastly, I'll add a border to it, something that looks like torn paper. This photo looks pretty cool now, so I'll go ahead and save it with the button in the top left. And there we go. There's our finished photo. Now keep in mind that we made this as a book cover, but we could also use it for movie posters and report covers too.